So hi, as you can see from the title of the video, it's fragrances that suit a kind of broken heart thing. It's not, nobody needs to worry or anything. My heart is no more broken, black, despairing and icy than it normally is. It's just a video, innit? And it's just kind of, I don't know, as I suppose of late, but probably as you can tell through my videos and posts, it's melancholy. It's snowing, I don't think you can tell, but it is snowing right now in my face and that, so the grim weather doesn't always help, does it? Anyway, I don't need to waffle on. So I'm going to try and keep it as brief as possible because there's no need to extend it, is there? So first up is from Maison Violet, that is Poupée d'Automne, which is one I've spoken about quite a lot. It is quite an exceptionally melancholy fragrance. It's got the powdery lipstick, kind of makeup-y, you know, all that jazz, but not really. It's kind of more like an imprint, a memory of it, and that mixed with the cold kind of orris that runs through it. And there is a fruity nuance as well, and it's got that kind of autumnal crisp leaves. So as you can kind of imagine, this is sort of midway breakup, isn't it, where you're starting to see the beauty in the world again, but there's that memory of the kisses, the makeup, the skin against you, the tender touch, but the icy feeling is your feelings are starting to get numb and kind of sad still, very sad, but you know there's a bit of colour to come, you know that the end of the pain is getting close and near. And I think it's yeah, you could call it the autumn of a broken heart as well, couldn't you? It's just a beautiful fragrance. It isn't always melancholy and glum. I find if you wear this when it's slightly warmer, it is a bit more of the fruity nuances, the violet's a bit sweeter. But yeah, that's a Poupée d'Automne. Next is Yves Saint Laurent's Black Opium. Now this one, as we all know, particularly to me, is a special one, but you could kind of insert your own here and also include this one. I imagine this one makes a lot of people feel the same and kind of broken hearted. This is broken hearted years after the event still. This is the memories and the pain. Again, I don't really need to explain Black Opium too much, but it is a fragrance video. It's kind of coffee, isn't it? Jasmine, vanilla. It's just warm and comforting, and it's a very distinctive DNA that we all probably remember. But that's what it is, we all remember it. It was everywhere. We're all going to have had an ex-girlfriend or ex-partner or whatever who's worn this. And because it's such a particularly closely linked to a great love to me, it makes you feel sad. It makes you remember them days. It takes you back to the comfort and happiness and that feeling of it'll never end, it'll all be this good. And yeah, it does, doesn't it? And then years later when you smell it, it kind of transports you back there, which is a comfort, but it's also, yeah, it's a bit depressing, isn't it, what we've lost and all that's happened in the years since and all of that. So that's Black Opium. Next, it was always going to be a vanilla one, and that's Kayali's vanilla I've gone for, which is I don't mean the word basic in a kind of critical way, but it is what it is. It's vanilla, and it has a warm, resinous kind of feel, slight spices there, very cakey. But ultimately, the reason I picked this one is this is that hug when you're broken hearted, a hug from your friend or your family member who just tell you it's going to be okay. Okay, I'll probably need a hug after this dog. Okay. Thank you now. Anyway, after that trauma, Yeah, so it's the reassuring scent, isn't it? And vanilla is such a comforting scent to all humans. Go watch Claire Smith's video all about vanilla and its magic in one of her videos. But yeah, it's comforting, it's a hug, it reassures us, it makes us feel like everything will be okay in the end. And don't need to waffle on, that's Kiali's vanilla. Next is one that I think we can all relate to again. Is it Killian's Angel Share? Now this happens to be quite a warm, again reassuring, snuggle fragrance, a bit of a hand on the back, you're going to be alright, you're going to move on. But what it also is, quite undeniably, is booze. And what's better for a broken heart than booze? It's really not. It makes us feel, look at that little birdie. Hello little birdie. It's a weird colour, isn't it? Sorry, getting distracted in this video. Oh, for fuck's sake. So yeah, where were we? Booze. Yes, booze. It's not good for you, is it? And it makes you feel worse in the long term. Obviously gives you a fat belly and yeah, it's not good for you. But in that moment, it numbs the pain, you forget. Everything fades away, doesn't it? One more sip of that beautiful brandy and you feel a little bit number, a little bit more at peace. Maybe you go out to try and block it out, big distraction. That always goes well to a point, doesn't it? And then you feel like you're alone in a big crowd and nobody gets your heartbreak and your misery. I know this is going very emo, isn't it? But it's true. I mean, that's how we feel after, isn't it? And yeah, Angel Share has that definite strong boozy quality about it, although like I say, it's cosy. And that's ultimately what it is, isn't it? Them sips of drink. It's not till after you regret it and you feel terrible, but at the moment it just fills your body up with warmness, anaesthetises the pain and anguish, doesn't it? So, Angel Share from Killian. Next up is Roger's 51 Eau de Parfum, and this one is in there because again it has a little bit of the Poupée d'Automne about it. It has raspberry, iris. There's no listed violet, but I'm telling you there's bloody violet in there, and raspberry, and it kind of again it does have that slight makeup-y feel about it and the kind of soft florals of summer. So it's a nostalgic one again. You're remembering the sweet times, the good times, how good it felt, and it fills you with a bit of warmth. But then again, it is quite a melancholy scent because nothing leaps out, there's no overly fruitiness about it. It's powdery and it's soft and it's quiet and it's a sad memory again, isn't it? So that's Roger Dove's 51. Then we have one I've not really spoken about much, but it's a beautiful fragrance, don't get me wrong. It's Frédéric Malle's En Passant, which is primarily kind of a lilac-y one, a kind of green spring fragrance. Yeah, it just takes you there to the first sweetness, the first flowerings of spring. And again, I suppose it's a little bit of the nostalgia thing. I tend to find that trans-season switch is quite a sad one. I hate winter, but spring here, this is spring here. Well, the snow's not really settled, but it is there. It's snowing, it's absolutely freezing, it's miserable. And it kind of grinds you down. And even when the purple melancholy flowers start to spring out with their beautiful sweetness, you still feel that little bit of anguish, that little bit of, oh God, will this coldness ever end? Will this pain ever end? But it's the first steps to the recovery, because then it starts to warm up. The flowers and that get bigger and more beautiful. All the the yellows and whites of spring have started to turn to these beautiful vivid purples and blues. And it's just, I think that's what it is, this one. It's why it's good for a broken heart. It's kind of, the future's coming, the season of rebirth. You'll move on, new things will come, and everything will be alright, kind of thing. So c'est en passant from Frederic Mal. And finally, last but not least, is Journey from Amouage. Now this could be symbolic of the name, you know, journey is a journey. And that's what a broken heart is, isn't it? It's ultimately, it's a journey. You have all them stages of grief, don't you? You know, denial, anger, blah, 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 blah. And I don't know them all. And then, yeah, you start to move through them, and it's a journey to the end where it doesn't hurt. But also this fragrance itself, although it's honey and it's is it mimosa, osmanthus, things like that, it is, because it's all enveloped by that warm kind of resinous amouage-y thing, it's quite a subdued fragrance. It is quite, again I'm using the word melancholy, but it is quite moody and that. You'd be walking into the desert, you know, and you're taking it all in and you're like, wow, this is vast and endless and empty kind of thing, I suppose. Still with the sweetness of the relationship behind you, and maybe the sweetness and coziness of what's to come. But it is like that kind of getting to the stage of acceptance and moving on. So yeah, that's Amouage's Journey. So a strange video to do, but fragrance, weirdly I think fragrance is very therapeutic. It does help us with all sorts of emotions and stuff, and there's not many videos linked so deeply to emotions, and I hope, I'm not the best with words, but I hope I managed to kind of connect that. And it's okay to be broken hearted, it's okay to hurt and what have you. It's a part of life, innit? And that kind of coziness that we need, or the bitter memories and such like. Also, I was listening to, I hate being interrupted, it interrupts my flow of thought, but yeah, I was listening to Tori Amos's A Sort of Fairy Tale, which I hadn't heard in a while, but that song kind of took me to this place and made me think, and that the song itself is beautiful, but it's all about a love. You could look at it two ways, isn't it? It's a love that never lived up to what you wanted it to be or what you expected it to be, or it's a love that's there, that burns forever, that you can't get to. It's gone, it's in the past. You keep going back there in your head, and you want to hold on to it and you want to make it work, and that's why it's called A Sort of Fairy Tale. It's both sides of them coins to me, really. And yeah, it just inspired the video. Won't waffle on. What about you? What makes you kind of quite emotional and nostalgic? What fragrances make you feel better? Are there any that you like in the video? Alright. Too many questions. Thanks folks, bye.